Testing. I think we are live and in charge. I think everything's okay. I can hear my voice. Hopefully everything gonna be all right. Let's see. Everything good. Mm-hmm. See, welcome to another edutainng, entertaining edition of the Artivist presents We All Be News Free Dixie for the 21st century. I think we'll be fine. Got an interesting show for you all. I'm doing a couple back to backs tonight, Sunday night. This is better than football, I think. Anyway, it's more unpredictable. A lot of things been programmed through the media, predictive programming. But we're gonna have a great show for you tonight. Should be an instant classic, and I I'm glad that people are tuning in. Shout out to the chats. Y'all keep it very interesting, to say the least, and for the support and donations as well. That goes a long way. So this is why we could do what we do. I feel like there's a need for these type of conversations and to help a safe space for these to take place as much as we can. So before I introduce our guest, let me read a disclaimer. I'm gonna read this at the end of the show. I'm always gonna read these disclaimers because I think it's important. I believe in the First Amendment, but you know, I respect a person's right to free speech, and I want to make it perfectly clear that this is a platform. And with that said, the views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints and expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. Without further ado, bring on our good brother here. Brother Coolicc, how you doing?
How you doing there, brother Ron? How you doing there?
All good. I can't complain, man. This has been an interesting day. I got a lot of stuff going on. Like I told somebody, if it's 2020 and you bored, you're not doing 2020 right. Ain't no way in hell you should be bored right now.
That's right. I didn't catch the rest of the show. I'm gonna get on that later today or tomorrow. But thank you for inviting me on there again. But
And I think the black women want to save you, man. It's like, no, he gotta love the sisters. Why? Who hurt him? Who hurt Coolicc? I mean, I'm serious, man. I got women calling what they. I want to settle up with my daughter. You think I'm lying, though? I want Coolicc. I said, I don't know if Coolicc want y'all though. Like, I don't know. Is it who hurt him? They want to heal you and nurse you back to good black man health. I mean, it's like these black. I mean, I don't know, Coolicc, what's going on? Why are people so interested in your story, man? Like, what is it?
well, the truth sells. The truth speaks miles. We know it. I'm not coming from an robotic place. I'm coming from a truthful place of experience and what I see the condition in my generation. Now, I can
Mm-hmm.
sit here and talk about people in the past, but I didn't live it. I'm talking about I'm a '90s baby. I'm talking about now, the '90s for now. I lived that, and that was a military industrial complex to annihilate men, but especially black men. And we got to know that. And today we see where we're at today. Sister Shahrazad Ali stated in the early '90s what's going on. She wrote the whole blueprint. That
Mm-hmm.
if we don't examine what's going on, hence what we're doing today. We're doing the WAPs, we're doing all this ignorant stuff. And look, I'm aiming for the problem. I'm not going to sit here and play the blame game, but the problem is a lot of our sisters are volunteering to do this madness. No man
Mm.
making them do it. No white person's making them do it. They're doing it because that's what they want to do. But I'm saying the consequences, because men get consequences. Ron, if I come to your house right now and kick the door down, there's going to be a consequence. But women have been kicking doors down their whole lives, and nothing has happened. That's a problem right there. That's a problem. So it needs to be examined. It needs to be put to the forefront. And there's a lot of men ain't doing right either. But I'm saying, like, in this generation, women have lost their damn mind. They ain't lost their fucking mind. Excuse my language, but I mean, like I said, I didn't catch the rest of it. I wasn't trying to be rude to people or nothing like that. And I wasn't, but Dr. Short was speaking them facts. But it's hard talking to some of our sisters or people. And it's like, why do you want to debate with the truth? I'll hear stuff from sisters talk about men, and I don't debate on them about truth and all that. Whatever they say, I'm like, yeah, that's right. And I move on. I'm not debating about 1 + 1. You know what I'm saying? That's a mental illness right there. Why do you want to debate about truth? And if it's not about you, why does it hurt? Why you get mad? If I throw a rock in the crowd and I intend to hit the person with the green shirt, right? And I hit the person with the green shirt, but the person with the yellow shirt is yelling and crying. What's going on? That's a mental illness, a sickness that's going on here. And I'm not going to deal with it. Now, there's some women out there that look like me, that got sense, that want to be a team player, that want to be fit, that want to be a great female, that want to love, that want to build up the household and nation. I'm for it. But if she wants to fight worse than the white women do, or East Indian women do, or the Arab women do, black men are dying at a high rate, not because of white supremacy, because of black women. And y'all don't want to discuss that.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna discuss it because I know a lot of women be getting pushback. I mean, it's kind of hard. If they say you God, that means you responsible for the male species too. I mean, you created the male, or you decide to lay down with certain type of males to produce certain type of males. Right. And my thing is, if it's just man, it's like even like the protect black women thing. I mean, we lose a lot of good men over unworthy women. All women are not worthy of protection or to be supported.
That's right.
Same thing with men. A lot of unworthy people out here, and you got to pick your spots. You got to pick your battles. So my thing is, we're coming to a season. It's purging season. I mean, a lot of people ain't gonna make it. Not, it's a lot of ways they kill you fast, they kill you slow, but they're killing us. And we want to make some really interesting decisions going forth as a people, as well as individuals, because black women are being used as the Trojan horse for our destruction. There's no way around it. It's funny how the doctor name is Kizzy. It's like that Kizzy off of Roots. She could write, she could read, but she still was, she wasn't accepted by Miss Ann and them.
Right.
So once Miss Ann and them use you up, they throw you away back to it's like with Du Bois, Dr. W.E.B. They say Du Bois now. I used to call him Du Bois. Hell, let's call him Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois, right? The talented 10th. It would have worked if you didn't separate the head from the body. You know what I'm saying? When they separated the talented 10th from the rest of the body and put it among white society where it was exploited and manipulated, and once they use you up, they send you back to your people, and used to us once they used you up. Because you're damaged goods. And this is what's happening right now with both black males and females. They're making these choices to sell out their people, and then we just put accept. It's like, all this hashtag stuff, like, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, that's sad stuff, right? But not disrespecting the dead. Were they on the same level as, say, a Malcolm X or Dr. King or a Fannie Lou Hamer? What were they doing while they were alive, walking the earth? Because those people, a lot of times, we take those type of people for granted. The sister Dana, who's from Newark, it was well known for decades that a lot of the cats that helped kill Malcolm came out of Mosque number 25. Farrakhan was at Mosque 25 on February 21st, 1965, allegedly. And yet the black community knew this, and nobody did nothing about these guys, these hitters, right? William Bradley, he just died not too long ago. I don't know his whole. I interviewed people that was connected to Malcolm, but it's ironic that the high school he went to ended up being renamed Malcolm X High School. But these cats in Newark, these are black people. They knew about what happened to Malcolm and some of the people that were involved, but nobody turned anybody in. It's just like my uncle who was molested by one of the one of the pedophiles in the neighborhood. You had two pedophiles in the neighborhood where he grew up in. One was a prominent college professor and on a deacon on a prominent church in the community. All the black folks knew about these pedophiles, but nobody did nothing to these pedophiles. They were going around raping, molesting young boys. Nobody did a damn thing to these pedophiles. So, I mean, this is the sickness and toxicity of the black community. And this is why I was telling people, y'all gotta check out Mom Rainey's Black Bottom. Because it shows you the psychosis that we're facing as black males and females. Like, in that movie, it was powerful to me that the white men were the record producers, but they didn't have any type of leverage over the black talent, really, but the black talent didn't know its worth. The black talent didn't know they had worth. Like, man, like he would call like one of the record producers, white guys, the small heads, whatever y'all call. He was calling them old black men boys. These were black men in their 40s and 50s and even older in that, in Mom Rainey's band in the movie. It was just called boys, they're boys. Y'all Mom Rainey's boys. Then Mom Rainey, I mean, I gotta look at it. I'm gonna do a review tomorrow. I'm doing all these shows, but y'all check out Mom Rainey's Black Bottom. It really, August Wilson overstood the psyche of Black America. Check out any of his plays, because they all based on the black experience every decade of the 20th century. He had a play for and all the plays were set in Pittsburgh except for Mom Rainey's Black Bottom, which is Chicago. But even August Wilson growing up, right? I read somewhere the reason why he dropped out of high school in Pittsburgh was because his white teacher could not believe he wrote a paper that was like exceptional. He wrote this exceptional essay, and the white teacher could not believe that he wrote that. And so he ended up dropping out of high school. That's one story I heard about it. I know in college, I have friends that are brilliant. Black people are brilliant. And they told me of stories of how their white professor did not believe they wrote that paper and gave them a lower grade because of it. So this is what we're dealing with as a black person, especially as a black man. Major League Baseball, they said we're going to allow the Negro League Baseball stats into the official narrative. But Josh Gibson went crazy basically at the age of 35, 36 because he knew he was the best. And he was not allowed to prove himself on the largest stage. But the irony of that is that Negro League Baseball was way more popular than Major League Baseball at the time. See, that's a lie they've been telling us. They flipped the narrative. You had whites and blacks that loved Negro League Baseball over Major League Baseball at the time. And with Josh Gibson, those guys used to play in Latin America. So a lot of stats that they had were not counted towards their official stats because they were playing in all these different leagues. I mean, around in Cuba, in Latin, all parts of Latin America. So, I mean, we are waiting for white folks to validate who we are as a people. We'll never get that love because they want to be us and they hate us for being who we are because they want to be us. How else will you explain them going crazy over the Beatles and Rolling Stones when it was B.B. King? Like B.B. King was asked, what he thought about the Beatles. He said all they did was re-import the blues because we used to go overseas and teach them everything they know. We was in Piccadilly Square showing them different chord changes and the blue notes. It was Little Richard that put on Rolling Stone and the Beatles when they were broke and living in their vans. It was Otis Redding. They showed them the way when he went over there. Because Otis Redding didn't know how popular he was until he went overseas. Because they ain't put his face on the album covers, right? So they ain't know what he looked like. They just love his sound. So black folks got something that everybody else want, but we don't even know how valuable it is. We're just giving it away. And then we point fingers at each other. But we in a system that's not set up for us to win. And that's something we gotta be honest about. And we also gotta be honest about how we feel towards each other as well as black people. So let me open up this. I got a couple shows I'm doing. I don't know what's wrong with me. But hey, King BJ, hey.
What's going on, brother, man? How y'all doing? Hey,
all
man.
Right, man.
Hey, Coolicc, man. Keep spitting that fire, man. You and Phil Valentine, love it, man. Keep
A.L.L.
spitting that fire. Hey, Ron.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I called the Zeitgeist, you called the Ryan guys, you called the Trump guys. 2020. Hey, look, we only got 11 days in this movie. What's gonna happen next?
Space invasion, aliens, man. Mars attack.
Watch out for the Mars. Asteroid hit the Earth or something, or the planets aligning, man. I think something will go down Mars. They on the winter solstice, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wanted to say congratulations to y'all for your earlier show. I wish I was on that one, but I had some people here. I just came back from hanging out for a couple minutes with the wonderful SiStar, Lauren. Yeah, she's great. We got some brilliant SiStars, including SiStar. Dana, y'all conversation was fire, man. I had to listen to it in my earbuds because the company was here. They was talking and stuff, so it's a little bit different. But hey, I'm here now, so congratulations to both of you. And I was just glad to give all y'all guys donations. Y'all some wonderful people. Y'all keep me going, and y'all keep me up. And that y'all, I be up sometimes at night just researching. But I gotta thank y'all guys for everything y'all do.
Hey, we appreciate you, man, brother BJ King Bernard.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us today or tonight. Everybody want to join my show.
Hey, man,
so
it might look, man, it's 2020. You don't know what day it is sometimes.
Oh yeah, everything run together. I really don't. I be forgetting days. You going by so fast. But Queen Dana, how you doing? Miss Jersey Red.
Oh, I was like doing something. Hi, because I was just like, you could just add me whenever. Because I know Coolicc probably had more to say.
Nah, he gonna say what he got to say.
He left the other show early.
Yeah, had another interview.
Oh.
Well, Dr. Phil Valentine. I caught the tail end of some good stuff. I always love Dr. Phil Valentine. It's always good to hear an elder like him. Cause I know a lot of silly olders. I don't call them elders. I call them olders. I know a lot of silly black olders that don't know how to think. They like dinosaurs waiting to be extinct. But it's always refreshing to hear Dr. Phil Valentine with his different takes on things. And I mean, it's good, man. It's good to see an elder like that really connecting with us and you helping to amplify his message is really a blessing.
Oh yeah, and that'll be uploaded probably in an hour or so. It's gonna take some time on my computer, but it'll be up there on PiNeal Coolicc.
Okay, so SiStar Dana, Jersey Red, real Dana with the data. I know you said that Coolicc kind of left us on a cliffhanger, so to speak, correct? Mm-hmm. Like when he got out, you want him to elaborate more on his point. He left us with that cliffhanger.
You knew what he was doing when he knew why he said what he said. What you say before you left earlier? Elaborate on that. When he said that the destruction of the black race is going to be the black woman's fault. Something to that. That wasn't your exact words, but it was something to that effect, I think.
Yeah, you got it right. That's exactly what I said. Yeah, if we do the math, we do the simple math. 1 + 1. If we look at the stats and the choices our women make in this millennial generation, and after that, yes, that's a fact. Now I can state the claims while I'm stating that, but again,
please do.
Okay, so for example, we have all this knowledge today. I'm talking about males and females about our bodies and what sex, does to it. So what I'm saying is, if I don't wear a condom, right, and I go into a girl's naked vagina, not her, but we will be both pregnant, right? Metaphysically, soulfully, and literally we'll be pregnant. So we know the consequences. People know what they're doing at age 14, 18, 20, 24, 34. I don't care about these excuses about the brain development and all that kind of stuff. People know what they're doing, right? Now, the thing is, do we have parents? Do we have a guardian? Do we have people that are in our lives that can tell us this is a bad thing to do? So when people like me at age 34, or my parents, because I've had both in my life, have told me, Neil, you go down these certain paths, here are the consequences if you do certain things. I understood that. I can look at what, I'm out engineer and a musician. I can look at the records, the rappers told me, the rock stars, hey, don't do this, don't do that. I heard, I listened. So when I tell certain things, or when people tell certain things to some black women in this community and they don't listen to it and they want to be hard-headed and choose their own demise and suicide, that's their damn fault. And if she's my birther and she's the womb and she's basically metaphor of everything in his life that is of existence, and she's crazy, that's her choice. And we can look at the stats of abortion. We can look at the stats of broken marriages, broken homes. Yes, niggas or black men are at fault of this too. What I'm saying now, with this madness going on, with this European feminism and the hate for men and the contempt for men, especially black men need to, and you're right, we need to get together. We need to team up, right? We need to do all that. But we're so busy trying to please women and getting in between their legs all the damn time. We need to worry about building only black male businesses, black male schools, right? Black male clubs, all that. Once we heal ourselves, maybe we can worry about y'all. But one of the disappointing things I have with y'all don't talk about your issues. You're always over here in the male land saying what we ain't doing. When we look at y'all's mess, and I don't mean you because I don't know you, we look at women of today and they mess, they are some fuck ups and nobody says nothing because they scared. Oh, and I'm gonna lose pussy points. I don't want that nasty ass pussy. They ain't shit anyway. And a lot of these girls, they just throwing it at everybody. Why I want that? What's that do? And I'm supposed to bring these heifers home to my parents? And it's a nightmare. I used to have dreams when I was young. I'm talking about middle school because I knew something was wrong with these girls. Could you imagine marrying a girl and you coming out them doors in the church and you look down at her and you find out her past and she never told you what she's done? That's a nightmare. Martin Luther King's wife wasn't like that. Malcolm X's wife wasn't like that. Ida B. Wells. These women had integrity, discipline, and they knew that what's between their legs is a weapon, and they didn't use it against men and themselves. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, women of certain stature, they still used it as a weapon, but they just went about it differently. It wasn't for lust or sleeping around. It was for other tangibles. But right, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying what you're saying is not true. But I think I'm coming from a point of, yes, men need to separate, build a coalition. Women need to do the same, but it needs to be some honesty in both groups, right? And this is where I bring in mental health because, you don't need to know, just because you meet a woman and you get to know her, she doesn't have to tell you her story or her background because y'all just met and you're just getting to know someone. And that's something very personal. Let's just focus on women, but I'm not excluding men either. A lot of women do come from a broken place. With that said, you cannot create and build a family if you are broken, a woman, right? The same goes for men, but we're just focusing on a woman. So when we talk about abortion or divorce rates, first, it takes two to tangle. It takes two to get married. It takes two to get a divorce. Women in general, globally, have been treated badly for centuries. However, focusing on Black women here in America, I look at it when we talk about abortion, I'm not fighting to overturn Roe versus Wade because that's not going to happen. However, if the solution to that is prevention. How do you prevent the numbers of abortions to go down low, right? So what do you have to do that? And talking about Black people as a community, as a race, as a group of people, we're doing a lot of talking. We're doing a lot of pointing the fingers, lack of accountability. We're in denial. That's women and men. So one thing about me, I don't completely side with Black women. I don't completely side with Black men because it is a dysfunction as a whole. But you as a Black man, the way you feel, what you're going through and how you see things is different because you're a man. I'm not, right? So I can't dismiss your perspective and where you're coming from because that is something real. But you shouldn't dismiss mine either. But what we both have to do is be accountable for our behavior, for our community. And you're right. A lot of Black women are out of pocket. Now, when you left the show towards the end of the last show, I blacked out a little bit on some Black women, but sometimes that's necessary. And I think Black men don't do that a lot. You are too quiet. You do let women just do whatever to you or around you because y'all do not form to come together and form a coalition and just take action. What I see, and YouTube is not real. This is not where the work. This is not work as far as building up Black people. The work is outside of YouTube. But when you look at the Black sector of YouTube, it is disgusting. There are, like you said, focus on women, focus on the wrong things. And as a man, you're not focused on building. Women the same way. They focus on how to get a husband, how to be more feminine, or celebrity gossip. You're not focusing on your mental health as a woman, because to unlock that door to really talk some serious shit about what's going on with you up here and inside, a lot of people are in denial because they don't want to tap back into that dark space. But what they don't realize, what they're doing is you are projecting and you are harming other people in society, especially your Black man counterpart. So it has to, maybe that's my sign because I'm a Libra, so it's a balance scale. It has to be some type of balance. It can't, I'm not going to say it's all the Black women's fault or all the Black men. No, it takes two. But in order to actually change, you have to have solutions. So you could tell me the problem and we could tell each other the problems, but no one is not coming up with a blueprint of solutions.
Well, the solutions are there. You know, and I what'd you say now?
I wanted to interject in something here. So I was talking to brothers the other day about these same situations. And me and him were talking, and we said, and Dana, I'm glad you're here. Queen Dana, it's good to be back. You always have a great time, so that's always great. Now, I realized a friend was talking today, and we said that the mother is the teacher and nurturer of the child. That's where it got to come from. And I said, well, you know, maybe we got to get back to a situation where the men work or the woman work, but she has more time at home with the children and more nurture or whatever the man do, protecting, providing, and everything, maintaining. That's his job. So, and we were talking about, he was saying that this brother, we were saying he wouldn't date certain type of women because he don't like women being in combat. Women shouldn't be in the military fighting in combat. He said this country is disgrace, and this guy is a former veteran. So we were talking about these issues, and I said, well, the woman, after she has a child, let her, you know, start a business from home, clothing, anything she wants to do. It could be anything, but that way she has more time with the children, because the more time you have away from your children, they get into this negative imagery. They go to school with these freaks and these people who aren't trained to do the right thing. Not saying that everybody's like that, but we have to get back to more family structure. And actually the school is in you. You are the teacher. That's why a lot of fathers say, well, look, you with your mother in your first 5 years, but then after you get to a certain age, whether he's playing basketball, football, whatever he does, the father takes control of the child going into teenage years. Because that's what he's supposed to do, protect, provide, and maintain. So maybe we can get to a situation where we can get back to a family structure, because really, to tell you the truth, when both parents work outside of the home, that means your child is in a daycare. I mean, well, Lord knows what goes on these daycares. I done had people tell me the craziest stories on these daycares. People trying to molest the children, people trying to go after the children. And that stuff costs a lot of money. You'd be better starting your own business, build an empire, husband, wife. Now, Black, of course, don't go swirling nothing like that. And you know, but build a community. You know, got to get the village back to what it was before all this. Anybody agree with that assessment? Coolicc,
I'm not disagreeing
Dana?
at all, Bernard. I'm not disagreeing at all what you said, but we have to identify the cause and effect. Back in the 90s, Dr. Short was talking about this, but I'm a 90s baby. I remember the assault. I mentioned this earlier on men. The gay thing, the jail, you're retarded, you ain't gonna mount. I mean, and then it was coming from Europeans, but when your own women do it and take action on it, it's a problem. Then we fast forward today, what's going on here. Then when men say enough's enough, or we identify the actual cause and effect here, now we want to talk about balance. Why don't y'all talk about balance and all that kind of stuff back then? But you were benefiting off the Oprahs, the Gayle Kings, and all these Nazi Zionist feminists. Y'all were benefiting off that, but when a Black man is pouring his heart out saying, I want a certain type of woman, I want to continue this lineage, I want to have a Black family, I want to do all this kind of stuff. But then you have to argue about stuff that's pointless or truthful. It's not productive.
Right.
And it's just like,
Okay,
it's just like,
I got you.
for example, if you say to certain black women, I don't want y'all supporting the Asian hair thing or the Brazilian weaves. I want y'all to wear your own hair because I like your own hair, whether it's straight, whether it's curly, whether your hair can grow this big, or, I mean, this long, this long. I want you to be yourself. If I say that, oh, you're trying to control my body. You're trying to do this. You're a male chauvinist. I mean, a black man can't do shit right.
But can I ask you this question as far as the hair thing? And let me just say this too. The first thing you said, why weren't women wanting to correct back then and want to do it now? Well, men who are saying enough is enough, now, because they did not have guidance, they don't even know how to go by making a change, because they are so feminized, they don't even realize it, that they're really not men, they're really males, but they think they're a man because they have a penis. They are in denial and they don't take accountability for their lack of manhood, because, and let me just take YouTube, for example, any other panels I've been on, they are quick to call a woman a bitch, all types of derogatory, because they're upset and they fed up. Well, if you was a real man and not acting like a woman or being feminized, you would know, if you want to get results, especially from a woman or cooperation, you need to know how to do that. It's a way for a man to do that, to get cooperation. So yeah, you have a right to say enough is enough and you're fed up, but look at how you'll go by doing it. And I'm talking about, and I'm using Black YouTube sector as an example. And then I could say that same thing when you go out in society, that it is a problem, because males are not men. They don't know how, because they did not have that example growing up. And that is a problem. So you can't have a dialogue. How do you want to have a dialogue with me or tell me about Black women where I don't see you completely as a man, because you're not behaving as one? But take you, for instance, Coolicc. You act way much like, I would never have thought you were 34. I would probably think you're like, the way you talk and the way you carry yourself, very mature, right? You probably know what you want. I don't know if you're married. And if you're not married, do you personally, do you have women beating down your door? Or do you have a problem getting to know a woman or picking a woman or whatever? Like, is that your issue? Because a man of a certain caliber, an alpha man, a real man, I do know this, a woman who really wants to be with you and really wants the same things you want, they're going to adhere to your agenda. So it shouldn't be a problem for men like you to get a wife or to be in a relationship. No, so is the problem, you're saying, when it comes to building a relationship with a Black woman, is the lack of quality?
Yes, the lack of quality. When I look at my folks in my own family, and when I look at, that's why I mentioned Ida B. Wells and Rosa Parks and other people like that. I'm not saying she's got to be Susie Homemaker, because a lot of these women, no matter what race, can't cook. They can't take care of the household. They can't do a lot of stuff. And that's not negative talk. That's just what it is, because this feminism has messed up their head and they chose to do this kind of stuff. But no, it's the quality. And that's why I say I have other women beating down the door. I want to have a certain type of Black woman.
No, do Black women beat down your door?
Not the way I wanted to, a comparison to a white or a Mexican or something like that. No, that's why.
I mean, the quality. You mean that you don't? It's not.
No, not the quality. I don't want to mess with Shaniqua and Shanae and
They're beating down your door, Shaniqua.
Yeah, that's what I'm not for that. I want a Black female that's got the two masters, or that's got a certain pay salary, or there's a certain consciousness and mindset. I don't want a low level demonic Megan Thee Stallion type whatever. I don't want that. That might be cool for the physical, but in terms of something I can build with and all that, no. I'm sick of it.
And I'm only using that as an example for a little bit, because I like the fact that you just said you want a woman with two masters or a certain income level. But do you understand, a lot of those women they're the feminists. They're the ones who support.
That's my point.
So
one of my points.
Right. So whether you have the high degrees or not, because you could have a high school diploma and be very classy, be a woman, you know, a good quality woman with a high school diploma, and you could still be educated. You know, you don't have to have a master's or even a bachelor's. And men, you do want her to be educated, but you really don't care if she has all these degrees. And a lot of times what women do nowadays, they throw that up in your face as if you need to bow down to them. But anyway, because I come across it and I'll be having to check them. But just because, so I get what you're saying, that you know what you want, but outside of a degree and money, I'm looking at the character. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I have a son who's 22 who will be marrying one day. And no, I don't want him marrying a quote unquote Shaniqua mentality, right? But she don't need to be out here flaunting how many degrees, because bitch, you can have 2 degrees, but you broke because you have student debt, because we do have a wealth gap when it comes to Black people. So the more education you have, the more debt you going to collect. Whereas you have men who have no college degree, but they have a trade and they're making $200K a year. So I go back to the character. So I say all that to say, like, someone like you shouldn't have a problem finding a good Black woman. But you're saying that you have issues.
Yes, and I'm not the only Black male, whether it be a lower class, middle class, because I'm doing all right for myself. What I'm saying is I'm not the only one saying that, no matter what class it is. We're saying, I'm talking about the real Black men. I mean, the ones that ain't killing and raping and treating Black women like, you know, shit in themselves. I'm saying the ones that care, want to further this race. I'm just hearing feedback, but yeah, what I'm saying is, yes, the quality of a particular type of Black female, the Ida B. Wells, the Coretta Scott Kings, she is gone. And the quality portion I'm talking about is the loyalty thing, is the self-respect for their body, not showing everybody your breast, your bottom, your vagina, all that kind of ignorant, insecure, stupid stuff that the European women invented. That's their thing. But the Black women
don't you know that there's men who think that's quality, Black men, and that's who they marry too. Like, so when you look at, let's say, Cardi B, you know, she's married with a kid, right? Got married before the kid, right? And she has a flourishing career, so do her husband. But then you look at her husband. So
he's a clown. He's a clown.
So you see, but they're married and their careers are successful or whatever. But so there are men who are marrying those type of women who you feel as though are not quality women. I just think men like you, like, I don't want you to go through Black America saying that there's no quality Black women or you can't find who you look for. I believe that there are. Maybe that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to convince you that it is. You don't have no kids.
No, not at all. And
never been married.
That's by choice because of discipline. I knew at an early age of 16. I
don't understand why you're not. Yeah, like I would be knocking down your door. So I don't know. I think I'm trying to convince you. Yes, there are Black women who you're looking for out there.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with that. What you're saying, you're right. But I'm saying she's, and I hate saying it, but she's a rare diamond. She's a rare diamond. And somebody chat said about 2 degrees. I didn't say she had to have 2 masters. I'm saying she had y'all
you just say 2 masters. It's like maybe you was just saying.
I thought you said that, Coolicc. Well, you was joking or something. What were you trying to say?
Let me Coolicc. Somebody, a friend of mine is watching, and he says to present this in your case, even in your point of view. He said, please address your point about the fake hair, eyelashes, hair weaves, fingernails, Botox shots, and women allowing their friends, girlfriends, and call them bitch and gets blasted for asking these questions. And most importantly, why should a man act a certain way and they can say dumb shit and still get the. So he's a direct points of view. Now, I just want to know what you think about. He wants to know, actually. I'm actually point. I already got my own agenda with it, but I just want you to actually tell you the Black woman is the most beautiful woman on earth. She don't need nothing unnatural.
And I agree with you.
So
I agree. That's my frustration. They are the standard. They are the hierarchy of beauty. You know, I don't want to sit down here and go, damn, I got to think about somebody else because they ain't meet my requirements or meet what true femininity is, which Black women started. They are the origin of femininity. They are the origin of beauty. They're the origin of all things feminine. But then they get lower than a white woman and all that, and then dressing like a white woman, looking like one with the blonde weed, the blue hair, and all this crazy stuff, and the eyelashes. And then they're paying them all this money, and that's $1 billion industry. And if I'm lying, y'all can fact check me. But if I say this stuff, oh, I'm an asshole, I don't like Black women, I don't like my Black mom, oh, I'm trying to control their body, all this ignorant shit.
I always say that men need to stay out of women's hair. However, would you prefer whether she want to wear a wig or a weave, I would prefer if Black women pull their money together and start owning the distribution, start owning what we are buying, because we are one of the biggest consumers. We're not the biggest consumers when it comes to hair weave, because white women and other women of other races, they wear it too. They was wearing it before we started wearing it. It's just that when Black women get a hold to something, we know how to make it our own and make it pop. But we don't own none of that. The Asians and the Indians have that on lock. So I think that's more of a problem than wearing it, because these women with the degrees and the high quality women that you just described, they're wearing the weave and the eyelashes. But I think men need to just stay out of women's hair. It's more so, are you owning what you are consuming?
Well, I'm going to ask you a question, Dana. I got to ask Dana a question. This is from a lady named Dr. Johnson. Ron knows it very well. I just want to shout it out. She said, what's the point of a woman having a degree and she has a shitty character and not giving back to her community, or worse, you have a degree and think you better than your community. So she wants to know, what's the point of the degree?
Whoever, and I don't mean, I'm not, I didn't say that. I said she has to be a certain consciousness. I said and I said degree. I don't know if you're hearing me. That's the thing about Black people too. And this exceeds the sex.
You didn't say 2 masters.
No, what I'm saying is, I was saying, for example, I have 2 masters. I'm saying the same level. That's correct. I'm saying the same level. That's what I'm saying. But we have Black folks have a listening problem, and that's male and female.
Yes, we do.
A bad listening problem. And I don't know what's going on, but if somebody white was on here right now, you would hear it wholeheartedly, or you would say white supremacy and start blaming them for that shit. And y'all could eliminate white supremacy within a year. You know that, right? Easily.
You have 2 degrees and what kind of engineer are you?
Audio.
I'm about to find you a woman. I'm playing a dating game.
She's not again, I'm gonna say this. The worst women in this country is in the DMV area. That's a fact. The worst.
Really?
All the magazines.
Yeah, man.
Say I can't hear.
True.
Oh, it's true.
It might be true.
Coolicc, let me ask you this: Are these native-born Black women? Are they Caribbean, Ethiopian? Are these native-born foundational Black women?
There's a lot of Ethiopians in the DMV.
These are foundational. Yeah, you got them.
And they wear them weaves too.
These are the foundational ones. Yeah,
honey, and they think they shit do not stink. They look good, but
weird. So you like, what kind of mental illness is going on there? Then when they take the weave off, they have gorgeous and beautiful hair. That's like Portia Williams, for example. When I look at her, that's a great physical looking Black woman. If I want to draw a Black woman, like how Brother Ron does, he's a great artist. If I were to draw Ron, that's how she would look. And if she takes the weave off, her hair looks even better. So I'm like, why is she wearing that shit?
To protect her own natural hair. It is a hair protector. That's what I'm saying. Like, you're not going to get it. Maybe it's a woman thing and it's a man thing, but men just need to stay out on women's hair. I don't look at, well, what does she have in her head? How is her behavior? Because Portia, she's on that reality TV. So she's going to behave a certain way to get that money. And I think that's worse than any type of weave or wig she may put on. Because if you have a wig or a weave, but you are, being cooperative with your man or your husband and you're about family first and XYZ, who cares about your hair? But it's the other things that makes a woman.
I'm gonna ask you say something for a second. Yeah, I got excuse me, guys. I got a brother on the line. I don't know if you can hear him through the speaker, but he want to ask a question. Go ahead, man.
People need to ask their questions via chat.
Yeah, go in the chat, man. I just, geez. Go. I don't know if we're gonna be able to hear him.
But honey, if you got a question,
just give him the chat. Read his text and have him text you the message.
Yeah, take the message.
Well, I would like.
Okay, we can hear him. Go ahead. Yeah, I can hear it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We women today, everything about them is fucking fake, but you gotta be real. How is that even fair?
Is it for Dana? Is the question directed to Dana or everybody?
Actually, it is for Dana because I understand where the brother's coming from, especially Brother Lee. I'm 49 years old, and everything this brother is talking about, I started experiencing that since the early 90s. It is so easy, and really, it's a shame the way a brother can get pussy by saying some dumb stuff, and then when women allow that brother to get between them legs, now they got issues with him. Stop giving up the pussy and learn how to respect yourself first. And I promise you, everything will change and be better.
Okay. Whoa. Yeah, he hung up.
Oh, Dana, you have anything to say?
I mean, the first part with the question, wearing fake stuff, but they want someone that's real. Well, if I have natural hair, this is my hair. I could be fake as fuck. So, and I could have on a weave and I could be real as hell. So it's not you wear eyelashes or nails or your hair. Again, it's what's in your brain. It's how you carry yourself. It determines if you real or fake. I could wear my hair anywhere I want to. Black women, going back to times of Kemet, have been wearing wigs. So again, it's your character. It's not about what my hair is. My hair is part of my fashion, but it's not my consciousness. So, and there are some women who want to brighten their skin. Yeah, that's a psychological thing right there. That's mental health right there. And then for the last part, he's right. You know, if you don't give it up, you get more tangibles. And I always say this about women, you know, why would you sleep with a man and he ain't doing nothing for you? But see, men don't want to hear that. No, you would not be sleeping with me. Are you paying any of my bills? Do you have plans for me to take care of me or a future between me and you? So why would I sleep with you? But y'all don't want to hear that. You will prefer if a woman say, I don't want to sleep with you until you're ready to be in a relationship and take me seriously. No, I'm about that money because that is your job to provide and to protect. So why would I sleep with you until, you know, if I'm not getting none of those things? So yeah, he's right. But it's about the tangibles that I'm supposed to be getting from you if you want me to give you some pussy.
I want to get this question right here from Snuggles668. That's an interesting name. Are you saying black women not easily manipulated even when they do know what they seem to enjoy being manipulated except by their own man? Make any sense?
No, I don't understand. Well, who is that question for?
I think it's for you, but I guess anybody can.
Are you saying black women are not easily manipulated? Manipulated how? In what way? Because she's wearing a weave? I don't get it. Like women, period, of all women of all backgrounds can easily be manipulated, right? Men have been finessing women out the panties for whatever, or women have been taken advantage of or whatever. But when a woman stands her ground, you know, she's difficult or she's this. So some women are manipulated whether they wearing a weave or not.
Well, you know, it was interesting though. I would say this. I would like to say this. Let me say this. We see, like we ask a lot of the women, but why are we as men providing for these women? See, men are natural providers. Why are we doing for these women to entice them to see things our way, to fall in line, to submit to us? See, what like I want to ask, like, what are we offering as men for these women to follow us? Because women, like, you know, women choose. Look, I'm in Memphis, man. Look, y'all talking about the preacher. It's the women that choose the preacher. It's the woman that choose the pimp. Women always have the power. So what are you going to do to allow them to choose you? What can y'all offer? What can we offer? I mean, we've been bad, you know, on women, but Coolicc, Brother King, BJ, even I. What are we offering for these women to choose us?
Well, besides the financial thing, that's simple. All that little stuff about the finances and how how many rings I got in my car and all that. But the thing is loyalty. The thing is pure masculinity. The thing is support, and I mean support on all realms. And one thing that's hard to find too within any type of race of woman is the ability to communicate. I'm a person that if I disagree or agree with women, I can communicate. That's what I was saying with y'all earlier about the intelligence things and to be able to think for myself. So the real women are attracted to men that can articulate, think for themselves, be different, stand on their right or wrong. That's what I mean for me. I mean, I'm not saying that's much of nothing, but I'm saying a lot of men are going to bow down and try to lie to get in your pants. Me, if I don't like you, I'm gonna say I don't like you. If I like you, I'm gonna say I like you. And that, again, I don't have an agenda. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a lot to get in your pants is my point. So it's
back up a little bit. Cool. You said money is not an issue, and for a lot of men it is, because a lot of men don't have it. So they try to divert the talking point of saying, "Oh, you're a gold digger. It's not about the money." That's because you don't have it. Now you are a certain man on a certain level. That's money isn't an issue for you. You want the internal quality of a person. So it is an issue, and a lot of men don't have it, and they are running around here doing everything else except for getting to the bag. They're talking all this mess on YouTube, on social media, and in real life, complaining about women, black women this, black women that, but you don't have no money. You don't have no means. You have no power of nothing. You're not building anything. What are you building? What are you doing?
Well,
I got something to say about that. I got something to say because actually, now, Dana, what you said is true, but some men do have the money, and they still say, "Wait a minute, why am I gonna spend with you if I know that you ain't up to the task or what I'm looking for?"
But that man has every right to ask that question. See, that man can ask that question, yeah. And that's a good question. That's the question you should be asking. And men with money will ask that question, but it's the men without the money that's asking that question. It's like, wait a minute, you're not even in that league. You're not even doing what you need to do as a man for yourself. So a man who has his shit together, yeah, you could ask that question and you could tell a woman, no, I don't want you. I don't want you. I may want her. You could choose. Yeah.
But even if a man didn't,
okay,
let's say he's a man that lives in a cardboard box.
Well, he's not a man.
Oh, okay.
Tell her. Women.
I think the judge don't want me too much, but yeah.
Hold on, what now?
Look, Fred, he said, he want to tell you, Dana, when you start wearing fake hair and such, you are fronting, and the brother never gets to read the real you. Love yourself first, real you. So,
deflecting. He don't have no money.
We can and then Miss Johnson said we can take care of one another. He can provide and protect me, and I can care and love him. I would like a woke man because I'm woke, and there's a few of us sisters out that are woke, and we do hear and we are listening. So I just want to read those text messages that have been getting throughout the show. But
I will say this for black women. I will say this for black women, right? There are a lot of good black men out there. It's not hard to get into a relationship. It's not hard to get married. You just don't know how to do it.
Well,
okay.
this is you have the man that lives in a cardboard box. I'm saying with his confidence, with his intelligence, he should be able to get any woman he wants if he meets the physical requirement, if he's confident, if he tells the truth. Money is cool and all that, but my point of saying that is there's guys out here with money that are not even getting the girls they want because certain women want a certain type of male. Now I'm 5'10", I weigh 260. I'm a little out of shape, but I work out. I used to play sports and box. I still do a little bit of that. But I'm saying I'm not the 6'4", 5 or 6'6" guy like a lot of women, not just black women, want. But I get, he's the most masculine. He looks alpha coming through a door and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying that for the black community, we have to look at other things than just the pool of 10% of men. And that's when I go on YouTube, when I hear these people talking about this relationship stuff, there is a lot of black women that only choose from a pool of a certain type of black man.
And they're not qualified to.
But I don't think that's a good answer to say, especially in the condition we're in. We're in a bad condition.
Well, some are not qualified, and then on top of that, if you're going off aesthetics, the way somebody look, like out, stop. Men are naturally unattractive, physically, but you should don't deal with a man because his looks. Like, to me, the more gorgeous he is, the more difficult it will be for you to be in a relationship with that man, because you think he's attractive, but so do hundreds of other women, right? I would prefer the unattractive man, but he check off all the boxes, especially when it comes to the money, when it comes to the stability, when it comes to the maturity, being an alpha man. I don't care about your looks. I don't care if you're overweight. Can you provide for me? Are you respecting me? The way I respect you, vice versa. So that's one of the problems with women, why Black women are having a hard time. You want tall, dark, handsome, and you want him to have all this money. A, you're not qualified, or B, you living in fantasy. Bring down your standards as far as when it comes to how he look. And that's why I always go back to what is inside somebody's head. What do they have integrity? What conscious level are they on? So it's so much deeper than how a man looks. Worry about how his wallet looks.
Well, I mean, at least you're truthful. At least you're truthful on that. That's good. But a lot of them, they play the game. What'd you say?
Hold on 1 second. Lady, say something about stop calling us Black. She said we're indigenous.
She's right. I don't know who said that, but she's right about that. She's right. Who said that?
Dr. Johnson.
I'm African.
That's okay.
Well, I'm not African, and we got to know that the Nazi Zionist story. That's not. And I could go on that.
Slaves.
You say what now?
My people were born here as slaves. My lineage.
Okay, well, you can prove that. Cool. You actually have the actual slave ship.
Yeah, I do.
You have what's the name of the slave ship?
My daughter, she's a stay-at-home mom. She has a lot of time on her hands, and that's all she's been doing for the past 3 months is digging in the background. So, I don't go with the story that all the slaves came from indigenous. No, there was a such thing as the mid-Atlantic slave trade. We got the people that brought slaves here to America was probably 200,000 or something like that. However, they practiced chattel slavery and breeding, which multiplied that 200,000 to 7 million. So yeah, a lot of us came here from Africa.
That's
in a slave ship, and we were dropped off in the Caribbean. We were dropped off in South America. People like, I'm American, but so someone who is from Brazil are American. That's South America. We have Central America. We were all dropped off in different spots. More dropped off in Brazil and in the Caribbean than here in America. But what they did in America is that they forced us to.
I know that's the issue, because I was asking you a question where women have. Hold on, Bernard. Hold on. When women have these opinions about things, and I'm trying to keep it at a certain level. I asked you a question, Dane. I'm like, okay, what's the name of it? What's the records of it? Especially if they feel like they're truthful, they'll just rant and go.
No, well, if you're talking about an actual slave ship, a lot of those slave ships were destroyed. But when I'm talking about, when I say slaves and they're not indigenous, I'm about to tell you what my daughter discovered, that we were bought and sold here in America. A lot of those records were cut off. A lot of those records were destroyed, but there are records that she was able to find, court records, that they don't even say slave or slave master. They say bond servant, or, they were bond out, meaning that they were bought. So she's actually uncovering our family history, who were slaves, who were bought into slavery, who were sold or whatever. Well, so there's a record of not being indigenous.
It would state the people that were apparently housed in the bottom of these ships that were shitting and pissing each other. They didn't have food. So you got to tell me how they survived. And again,
a lot of millions of people died.
Yeah. And
a lot of people died on that mid.
This is a problem I have.
Slave trade.
This is a problem I have with basic common sense things with certain Black women. If I talk about the slave trade and she believes that nonsense, I don't want to.
What nonsense?
The so-called slavery expedition. None of that stuff.
So-called? Oh, so you said it never existed?
Slavery existed within the United States with the people already here, us indigenous Indians. But I'm saying that whole
What
thing.
about slavery in the Caribbean?
Okay, this is what happened there. I'll get to that. But I'm saying the whole Mid-Atlantic thing where these so-called Europeans took you off West Africa or South Africa and brought you over here to the Americas or the Caribbeans. That's a bunch of malarkey. We know that.
No, we don't know that, and you are completely wrong, and that's highly disrespectful to just wipe out and disregard that. There were 3 slave trades going on simultaneously. The East African slave trade is continuing today. 3 slave trades, yes.
None of
So
I've asked you the name of it, the ship name,
kidnapped by white Europeans. Yes, it did happen. It did exist. That's why you had a lot of Africans dropped off in the Caribbean and in the Americas.
Are you Caribbean?
Which is here too.
You have that background? No,
but my son's father is Jamaican.
Okay, so I can see the bias there maybe. What I'm saying is,
that's just a historical fact.
No, it's not a fact because what's your educational background?
You just look at the numbers, but tell me your facts.
Okay, it's simple. When I look at the slave records, for example, when I look at the 12.5 and all that kind of stuff, in that time period, they said they had all those Africans transported or stolen to come to here. It doesn't add up. When I look at the genotype and phenotypes, hold on, I'll let you talk. When I looked at the genotype and phenotypes of my people here, it is different than the Africans there. Not because of a European mixture, but because that's how we looked. The Indian they're saying that's the so-called end of the day is this Mongol Chinese $5 that came off the Bering Strait, right? Coming where? From Siberia. These are the fake Indians that took our birthright and land. But you look at the records, the names, the whole lineage, that's again, who came out with the out of Africa theory? Do you know?
People in Africa do not look the same. We all look different.
Yes, like the Ethiopians, I know that. But who came out with the out of Africa theory? Who came out with it?
Of different countries, which means Africans from the East and the West, they have different features. We all didn't have the same features.
We know that. We know that. But we're not connected with it.
Because there's no way in the hell I'm going to let you dismiss a Dr. Henry Clark or a Dr. Randy Short.
Clark,
or any of the other rappers. Now, was Africans here before the
Wait a minute, let me say this.
Were Africans here? Did Africans travel here? Like they traveled to what is called South America right now before the Europeans?
By the Jews and the Nazi Zionists.
No. Were Africans way before any slave trade traveled to the Americas, what we call the Americas? Yes, they did. But the fact is that when we're talking about the slave trade, the mid-Atlantic, transatlantic slave trade, there were Africans taken from their different countries in Africa, dropped off mainly in the Caribbean and in the South America and Central America. And then a small percentage, maybe 2%, were dropped off here in United States of America before it was called
it never happened.
That is a fact.
If you've never been to the Library of Congress, the archives of
I have. I've also been to the African Smithsonian Museum on that. And it does not say that the transatlantic slave trade did not exist. It does not say there were no slaves that were transported that never came here on a slave ship that came here in America. That is not true. 1619 happened and all the other centuries and years that came after that.
And I want everybody to see why in this community, hold on.
Already here.
You had your rant, which is totally
no, it's not a rant. What I'm trying to say,
hold on, you had your rant. Hold on. This is why black men don't want to do.
You have not come with no solid.
Speak one at a time, please. For the love of God.
You're not letting me talk. When I'm finished talking,
this is why black women are losers of the day. Because they don't know when to pass the ball or get out there.
Because I was not finished. Why would I pass the ball and I'm not finished? Can you stop
yelling? See, only a lower type of human would go to a lowing child state of mind. That's my point.
No, we don't. I'm not playing those games.
3 minutes, 5 minutes
back and forth. You don't agree where I'm coming from. I don't agree where you're coming from. So what I'm saying to you is
statement.
Wherever you get your ideology from, it does not add up.
This is who teaches these women of the day, and now they're even more demonic. I'm trying to yell, be insecure, and yell and raise my voice.
I'm not even yelling. I'm speaking at a regular tone.
You're yelling.
My microphone is right
let me intervene here. Like I'll say
you
this.
would like to think that I'm yelling because you disagree with what I'm saying, and you cannot back up what you're saying.
No,
you're not going to dismiss the transatlantic slave trade.
I'll go back to Africa with you and other islander people. Why don't you go back over? That's the issue I have with y'all.
Okay, well, let's say this. I mean, I think this is up for the people to do their own research on this, because I'm not going to dismiss the Middle Passage entirely. I'm also not going to dismiss the indigenous thing entirely as well. You know, there was a slave ship allegedly named the Clotilda that crashed in the Bay of Mobile right before the Civil War. They say they found the remains down in Mobile in the water, whatever. But Dr. Zora Neale Hurston did interview an alleged survivor of that slave ship. And you also got to figure out, how did the Europeans get over here? If they got over here by ships, right? And then you think about a lot of things. But I think this is open for people to do their research. I do believe there were already Black folks over here. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima's, that came before Columbus, talk about the so-called Black presence in the Americas, right? And I remember I was friends with Dr. Randy Weston, this great jazz musician, who probably is the only person in history who could claim as his Jegnas, y'all call mentors, I call Jegnas, Langston Hughes and Thelonious Monk. And he met his wife from Africa. And he was saying that America is Africa, if you think about it. Everybody, the origins of humanity and stuff like that. Or if you think about Pangea and all that. See, I don't really know, because like we've been so indoctrinated all our lives, and this is really a red pill moment. But I don't think this should be something that should be so divisive. This issue of the subject,
because Dr. Van Sertima, did I say his last name right?
Sertima, yeah.
I have that book. I didn't finish reading it. And I spoke to Dr. Leonard Jeffries, and he said, yes, Black Africans sailed to these lands over here, but that was centuries before the white man even knew these lands existed.
Right.
So Africans of different countries and regions in Africa have been traveling this world, right? Trading, reproducing with the native people who where they landed with or whatever. So this is way before any.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. What I'm saying is,
just stop doing it. Can you please stop cutting me off?
You already have 5 minutes.
No, I was actually talking to after Ron. Can you just wait till I make my point?
Let's go ahead and be respectful of each other's time. Go ahead, Sister Dana.
When you fast forward, so when he touched that in his book, Dr. Van Sertima, that was centuries, and Dr. Leonard Jeffries confirmed that was centuries before the slave trade. But now let's go up the timeline to 1619, and you look at the numbers. Let's say from 1619 to 1776, how many slaves actually came here in a slave ship in America, right? And then you look how many came in the Caribbean, how many came in South America, what we call South America now. So when we look at those numbers, it was a small percentage of slaves that was transported here from Africa or dropped off, stopped in the Caribbean, picked up some, and then brought them here to America. It was no more than 100 to 200,000. But those slaves were breeded. They were forced to breed, to multiply, to make more slaves to work the land. Now you could go.
No, I'll go when I need, and please, but a loud Black woman that's ignorant ain't saying nothing. It's a typical thing.
No, I'm not ignorant. And if you want to go and call names, we can call names.
Hold on, you already said the 2-minute rant.
We can start calling names because you don't agree and you have nothing to back up what you're saying.
Again, this Black woman psychosis right here. This is what we're dealing with. And the Black men are dealing with this. I understand why you don't want to deal with it.
No, because the fact is that I see why you don't have a woman, because you like to hit below the belt when no one did not call you.
You're making yourself look like it. Again,
but you constantly cut me off because you don't like what I'm saying. Now I'm ignorant. And I'm still actually being nice.
Yeah. I'm not worried about that. I mean, all that masculinity. Anyway, a man yells like you. I'm good.
A point of bad behavior from men.
That's very masculine of you. And the typical out of y'all. That's why y'all are single with 5 baby daddies and no children and no nothing.
Like a baby and call names.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna sit here and be a woman saying nothing, especially about my culture.
Well, Coolicc, go ahead, Coolicc. I want Sister Dana, let Coolicc say something.
Yeah, I mean,
speak the piece.
I got quiet until he just
and who really get?
I said he could go, but then he's gonna call me ignorant.
Well, if it doesn't apply, let it fly.
No, I think we need to actually show each other respect. Now, you could disagree and say your point. If you listen to people call names, then this whole show is going to go left.
You're still talking. You're still talking.
Because I could do that the same way you could do it. You ain't going
to fail. The race of kills. You got black women like
this. No, you're just an angry man.
No, you're angry yelling. Look at you.
Go ahead. Go
Let's get on track. Let's get back on track. Let's keep my eyes on the prize.
I can kill the whole the girl going down. Is we in the Texas going? I mean, what else can you do? What else
can you do? Go ahead, Miss Thing. Go.
Anyway,
talk.
To get back to the indigenous thing, because we'll talk like adults over here, because I'm a confident male. I don't have to yell and do all this kind of stuff like you're doing. But anyway,
voice.
But anyway, we have to look at the records, like I was saying, because I asked you when you cut me off. I said, what was the ship's name in records and the numbers of it? But that went on a whole 10-minute rant, and look where we are now. But anyway, we have to look at the lineage of what our grandmother and grandmother said to us. Now, we went to these schools, all of a sudden, we're African now, when the white people told us. I'm going by what my folks told us back in the day. I'm not worried about what white people said in their books and all that. Now, yeah, I went to college. Yeah, I went to high school and all that kind of stuff. But nobody knew they were African before they went to these dang schools, right? This is our land. When I look at the pictures, when I look at the name, there used to be Negro, used to be Indian, used to be Choctaw, right? Used to be Cherokee, right? Used to be all these names who we are. And all of a sudden, you had these boule, Afrocentric Marcus Garvey type people that were sellouts, that were paid by the Jews and not Zionists to push this Afrocentric thing. Another question I had for the chat and everybody else, who came up with this out of Africa theory? Can any of y'all name that? Who came? It wasn't nobody black or so-called black. So if my enemy is telling me who I am, that's a problem. Malcolm X told you, do not listen to your enemy. Your enemy should be calling you your name, should be talking about your culture, how to live, but we're doing that to this day. And the only reason I said what I said to you is because I'm talking a certain way. I'm just trying to get to the point. But what you're saying is not correct. And a lot of women in this generation, when they're wrong, this is my point. When they're wrong, they can't handle it. The truth, they can't handle it. But if I was white or somebody else, you might would bow down or be less aggressive. I don't need to yell, because if I start yelling,
nobody isn't yelling.
I'm not a yeller. I'm not all that kind of stuff. I'm
not yelling. Sorry, I'm not. And are you saying that Dr. Leonard Jeffries are wrong? Professor James Small is wrong. Yes, Dr. Henry Clark is wrong. Okay, yes, so it has nothing to do with a black woman can't admit or take accountability for historical facts. See, you're adding that into the mix.
No, I'm saying no. You missed my point. What I'm saying is when they're wrong, they take to emotion
historians who are more qualified than you are, who wrote lectures, who traveled the world.
How do you know that?
What's your background? Listen, you're feeding me. I'm not disputing your lineage.
What's
your lineage? Is your lineage.
You're saying mine you don't know about. Did you go to school? You don't know what I've done in terms of research. You have no idea. So
you have not traveled the way these men travel. They dedicated their life.
How do you know that? How do you know
research? Dr. Ben. What do you mean? Do you know Dr. Leonard Jeffries? Have you listened to his lecture?
Hold on. I just got an interview. Hold on. I just got an interview with Dr. Phil Valentine.
Okay, that's that. But what about Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Professor Smalls? Have you read how you pronounce it?
I just told you I'm a stupid person to anybody. I wouldn't tell you I know these people. I know of their work.
The Che Diop is.
I know you're talking. Yeah, the brother from my Africa.
Have you even read his book? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, these are people. My point is, these are people who write about slavery, write about Africans before slavery, during slavery, and after slavery. So your lineage
is they are paid operatives in Nazi.
No, you're not. You're not going to say
that's what they are. Marcus Garvey, was and excuse me, and because
I didn't say nothing about Marcus Garvey. Dr. Leonard.
I'm saying that. I didn't say you. I said I'm saying that. That's what
I said. Professor Smalls. I said Dr. Ben, Dr. Henry Clark,
and all of them were misguided.
Whatever. All right.
All were misguided.
Let's go on to the next subject, honey.
Misguided.
We're not gonna have this conversation.
You love Africa so much. Why are you not over there? That's what I don't get. People are so passionate about Africa. Why don't you go?
He need to set some order in this damn court. Something.
Well,
Can we go?
I'm
too intelligent, and I really don't have time to
sit
up here. Going to say that they were misguided. Sorry. Let's move on. Next subject.
Did you pass high school?
Question.
Oh, you went to ghetto.
We're not going to solve this situation. I just think that
Black, you want to say that?
Hey, Black man, I need y'all hear me right now. Look into the camera right here, like how they used to do back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it.
Bring on your show.
Your heritage, your lineage does not. It's not everybody else
going down. That's 265.10 of pure fat going down, ladies. But I'm not gonna deal with that right there because I'm trying to have a very respectful conversation. But all this loud mouth ghetto talk, I'm not gonna do it, man.
Let's change the subject. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna deal with it either, Miss Thing.
Zinta, I'm coming for you, baby.
I'm not gonna deal with it either.
Well, this shows this is a great illustration of what's wrong with the communication between Black men and women. This breakdown, failure to communicate. This not gonna be solved on the show. This issue about are we from Africa? Are we indigenous? I would suggest that people who really care about these issues do their own research and come to their own conclusions, because just because somebody's a scholar don't mean they always right, and just because somebody don't have the degrees don't mean they always wrong. So my thing is for people to use critical thinking about researching and also utilize your imagination, because like I had people in my family, they claimed to be Native American and they had the high cheekbones and they looked a certain way, and you look at some people from Africa, they don't like people from America, per se, American Black, and vice versa. We got a lot of things going. I got people from the Caribbean in my family as well as from this country in my family that look kind of like me or look like me. So I don't want us to be too divisive over this issue because it's not going to be solved tonight, and everybody got their own theories and ideas about origin.
This is the one thing. Black people are not monolithic.
Right.
What is your educational background? I've asked that a million times, and it's respectful. And I'm not yelling. What is your educational background? Since I'm curious. I stated mine.
I have a degree in bachelor's degree in social science with a minor in social justice. I also have a degree in health science, occupational studies, because I'm a licensed massage therapist.
Okay, what school did you from?
What school? Why is that important?
It's very important. It's very important.
I went to a Jesuit university.
Okay, what's the name of it?
Why? Why, honey? We on YouTube. I'm not giving out every goddamn thing. Why?
I'm not giving out anything. That's a simple question.
People will already Google me and be trying to dox.
I'm not going to. I'm asking you here. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm asking you right here. Where'd you go?
I just said a Jesuit university, but I was not educated.
What's the name?
In history through colleges.
Okay, but what's the name of it? I think that's the fifth time.
Why?
It's a question.
No, I just told you. It's a Jesuit university. It is a university.
University of Phoenix, probably. But yeah, what were you saying, King BJ?
But I said Jesuit, and you saying Phoenix. It's not. Come on.
Oh, we know that, but I mean, why is it so hard?
I know it's like you're doing jokes, and I just told you. I'm not getting that person who put in all my business.
Why is that important? It's not. I don't think it's pertinent to what we're trying to talk about here. This is his pettiness, man, at its finest. This all due respect to both sides. I can't waste my time. I got too much stuff I'm trying to do. I just was being generous, let y'all on my platform, and this is BS. Y'all gotta deal with this offline. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got some type of passion and some stuff y'all gotta address, but y'all don't need to be addressing it right now on this platform because we got limited time. So I don't know how we got to this point, but Black folks, this is what we do. We talk about bullshit that we can't solve in a day. There's in generations in the making, and then we'll come time to talk about some serious stuff. We don't got no answers. When folks tell me we gonna get a gun, who you gonna shoot? Who's the enemy? Define the enemy. What they do to you. So I mean, it's like a lot of times it's self-inflicted. What goes on. It's a lot of toxicity in our so-called community, which is not a community, just a collection of Black folks or so-called Black people. But what I'm saying is, the problems ain't gonna be solved on YouTube. And a lot of stuff we're talking about right now can't really be solved by the end of 30 minutes. So I don't know what the purpose is of this conversation.
Well, all I'm saying is
one-upsmanship.
And all I'm saying is it's a way to conversate. We can disagree, but again, being cut off and allowing her to, have a whole, again, my voice is at a certain level, not yelling. I don't need to do that. But again, have her statement, I can have mine, but the yelling, the over talking, that's something that was allowed. Then when I was trying to get my points across and I had questions I asked a million times, they were not answered. And we got louder and louder and louder. So when someone gets loud, there's something going on there. I don't need to yell and say these certain words, but when they disrespect me, especially women, all that loudness, I can be wrong, I can be right, but I'm not going to be loud because I'm wrong. I'm going to say, you know what, Neil, as a male, I'm wrong. But what I'm saying about us being indigenous, and this is our lands, that is a fact and truth. So anybody hearing that mess talking about this African stuff, they don't know what they're talking about. And then to say, I haven't traveled here, I've done, you don't know what I've done. That's why I asked about the college and all that and all this stuff people want to say. You don't know the research and time and what I know. That's why I asked you certain questions. What was the ship names? What were the records? Tell me the proof. But you start talking about somebody else and this, that, and the third. No.
Cool.
No.
Well, and then let me say this as a quick rebuttal. If you want to, you can't sit up here, and this is the thing, because I asked you questions about a little bit of your personal whatever, not too detailed to or what street you're on, but just in general to get your mindset, because you have a problem when you disagree with somebody, they have to be ignorant. You have been cutting me off since the first show. There were people who in the chat that noticed that. So you can't sit here and complain and saying that one person is cutting off somebody else when you're doing it as well. And a lot of times you started. So yes, Black women do need to be accountable. But you personally, you need to start taking accountability, because you showed your hand a little bit tonight too. And it's a lot of things that I could say to break you down and examine you, but it's like there's no need to. I didn't come to discuss that, not you, or to take personal shots at you. You took personal shots at me, and I still haven't called you out your name.
You're loud. Here we go with the loud, whatever.
That I do not talk
about the shit.
It's like you're over talking me right now.
Because you're not saying nothing. It's
no,
loud.
I'm not saying nothing to you, and I don't care, because what you think about me is none of my business. See, you have a problem. I don't. Now, I disagree with you when we're talking about slaves coming from Africa, landing here in America. We have our different views about the transatlantic slave trade. However, that could take on a whole nother show, to where, if you need actual times and records or whatever, I could pull that research and give it to you, right? And we could come back and do a whole nother show on that. But what I do not appreciate is the fact that you can't sit up here and say that those men who are named were misguided when you know nothing about them.
And again, there you go with the falsehoods again. There you go again in the yellow. I'm not. Again, and you took the conversation to it. And again, cutting you off, that wasn't true. When you first got on here, the first thing, you were talking for 18 minutes.
No, sir, I did not.
You didn't talk for 18 minutes when you first got on the first part of the ride for today? You gonna lie and say that?
Well, no, I allow her to, to introduce herself to the audience. That was an introduction.
Same too, but I tell you this.
No, what I'm saying is how you conduct yourself on shows when you know you're on other people's things and there's other guests, not just
this is not yours. I have my own channel. I know how this works.
I know it's ghettonomics. I know.
I know. I'm ghetto.
I mean, no, it wasn't her fault, brother. Cool. I was actually like, letting her talk and introduce herself to the audience.
I'm not trying to.
This is counterproductive. This can't get solved.
Let it go.
Yeah, let's move on. We're gonna move on from this. This is not healthy at all. But I would like to know, what should we do as Black people closing this year out and heading into the new year? What are some of the things we need to get done as a people as well as individual goals?
Dana, say something. You got the host. This is your show. Say something. I mean, this.
Go ahead. Start it off. What
No,
do you think we need to do?
Your turn, BJ. Say something.
Oh, okay, my turn. Okay. I think we need to come together. We do have to get in a historical perspective, but we do got to get rid of agents, traitors, and all that. You know, put them in a daggone island, ship them off, give them a blade, cut yourself, shoot yourself, do whatever you got to do. As I always tell you, Coolicc, and I was trying to point this book out. We have to understand what's going on, okay? So when we look at what's going on right now, what's really going on inside of America and out. And if you read that book, The Protocols of Learned Elders of Zion, you can find out how they did it, what they're trying to do. You talking about Nazi Zionists? I mean, I call them the synagogue of Satan. But then we can also read this book called Against Feminism, because we got to be against it. This is a Trojan horse. We got to smash it in its footsteps. We got to take our children and our men and women. If you wear a dress, you ain't supposed to even come in the damn community. You a man wearing a dress, you are a fucking disgrace. And I don't even give a damn if you get beat or hurt. All right? Then we got to talk about the vaccines, right? That's one thing that's really going on right now. So let's bring up Operation Paperclip. Nazi scientists that brought it to America, right? Then we can bring up plague wars, biological warfare. We got a lot of things we could be talking about in here. So I'm just saying that when we go through these books, and I got some more. Also, the young sister Lauren, she was supposed to be on, but she has a book that she was doing in the ISIS papers for Dr. Francis Cress Wilson. Brother Ron, thank you for the painting of Francis Cress Wilson. We have to understand that we got a lot of dialogue and play, but we got to get down in the books, reading and finding out who is the puppet master, who's controlling the whole agenda. Everything that the agenda is controlled by the Nazi Zionists. That's what it is. We got to smash them. Like I always say, if you got to get, you can worry about white people all you want, but if you don't get to them Nazi Zionists, that's the ones you really got to be worried about more. So we got to know how to attack their propaganda with ours. We can go after them. We just have to stop praising these idiot celebrities. You wear a damn dress, you ostracized. Don't even come in the damn community. Damn, we don't need what's that woman name? God damn, what's the woman that dressed like butches? We don't need them. If you want to be a what they call a butch, be a butch. But go to your damn own island. We need separation from these type of people because they're very counterproductive. Actually, you know, like Ron said, the counterproductive is counterproductive. No, it's counterproductive to have these type of people in our circle over a long haul. You know, we got to train them better from the womb so they won't even be like that. Cut damn cartoons off and stuff. I told you I watched SpongeBob one day, letting the little girl watch. I said, dang, I didn't even know this cartoon was like that because I don't even watch TV. I'm always reading, studying. So we just got to know what we're looking at. I mean, you know, if you want to sit, you know, if you want to listen to God to be, that's fine, but don't dress. I don't even think you should be listening to me. We really need to boycott half of these rappers for real. Let's be honest. But we don't need the Megan Thee Stallion. When you have Maxine Waters telling you that Megan Thee Stallion is a great woman, I mean, that just sick on his face. Then that just shows you how sorry Maxine Waters is. You look at her district in Skid Row, you can find that out. Then we had Breonna Taylor's mother being a disgrace by giving Cardi B Woman of the Year. She doesn't deserve no Woman of the Year. The only thing she should give is, I mean, maybe Thought of the Year, but not Woman of the Year. So we have to get back to our basis and family, love, and happiness. But we got to get back to the basics and stop letting our children, worship these, I'm going to call them just Satanists, practicing Satanists. That's what I call them.
True.
Yeah, respond.
Look, we all indulge in, for the most part, people in general, if Ron, if you want to talk about celebrities and tea and relationships, you know, your super chats and your YouTube would be popping bigger than ever. But when it's time to actually talk about history or politics or, you know, solutions when it comes to specifically Black people, a lot of people are just not interested. So it's more so, where do your priorities lie? Now, you don't have to sit up here and just stop watching TV or stop enjoying your life. But at the same time, you should partake in your local politics. You need to understand the science of politics. Like everybody else, when they come in this country, they understand how the system works. We are the only ones that allow ourselves to be shuffled through the system and not understanding how the system works, and to take advantage of that to better us. And that is a problem. You know, we talk a lot, we complain a lot, you know, we point the fingers a lot, Black man, woman, Black or whatever, but we don't do anything. We don't organize. We don't form coalitions. You know, we don't come together and work together. Yeah. And, you know, it's easy for us to get distracted. And I feel as though, you know, the focus and the priority is on the wrong things all the time. Because when we're talking about the vaccine and what they're trying to do without saying that they're going to do it, you know, how they slowly trying to implement it. The CDC called my phone 3 times. I didn't pick up. They left a message wanting to know, do I have children from the ages of 3 to 18 living in my household, and have they been vaccinated? I didn't call them back, you know, because it's something that is going on that is going to happen, and people, if you allow it to happen, it's an agenda, you know, when you have AOC taking a vaccine and showing her COVID-19 vaccination card. We never had a vaccination card for any vaccination. Now you have your vaccination record, right, that you present when you go into school or whatever. But you never had a vaccination for hepatitis card written out for you. Why for COVID? So it's a lot of things that we need to, whether it's an hour a day or 1 day out of the week, but we have to actually start changing the way we think and working together to come up with solutions and take action that's going to protect our race specifically. Because everybody else is taking care of themselves. The Indians are working together, making sure they're straight. Mexicans, even illegal immigrants stick together. Black people are not sticking together because the focus is on something else that's not a priority.
And Coolicc.
Well, BJ, you said some good stuff, man. The problem is right in our face. I'm about talking about the uncomfortable thing. I've studied all this conspiracy theory stuff, and I'm not saying what you're saying is conspiracy theory. That's not what I'm saying at all. You know, I got into the David Icke's and the Alex Joneses in 2006 and 7. So that was when I started this kind of stuff. And I got into the, if you were Afrocentric stuff. So I was named, you know, she was naming, and a couple of names y'all were naming. You know, I've been there, done that, studied stuff. I've been to the lectures, all this kind of stuff. My thing is, let's do something different, and something what our family has told us who we are. So this is why I'm very passionate about the indigenous thing and stuff like that. You know, we can talk about white supremacy all day. We can talk about paperclip and all this kind of stuff, the moon, the stars. But if I don't know who I am personally, what my family laid down in this country, I don't see the worth of any of this stuff personally, because they're going to constantly be playing games on us. So if I don't know who I am, know who I be, again, I can be the smartest person, I can be the dumbest person, but if I don't know who I am and if I can't look at the man in the mirror and say, this is who I am, and I'm confident, and I ain't lied to nobody, ain't killed nobody, what's the point? So, yeah, I mean, King BJ, that was some real stuff he's saying there, man.
Well, yeah, because we just have to you see what they're doing now. Also with the vaccine, if I was sitting watching, if you watch Nancy Pelosi, that thing had a cap on it. One of my guys that worked at a hospital was showing that thing had a cap on it. So taking a fake vaccine, but that nurse that passed out, you saw she passed out, and they say that she had a previous condition. Well, why are you saying she passed out? They want to say that, oh, all the vaccines are not helpful or harmful and all this stuff. Like, come on, man. they're gonna try to get a little bit more draconian with it. But the Surgeon General actually came out and said that you shouldn't that the employers should not mandate it, but you got some employers that man. But I want to say something though, right? I gotta make this clear though, because we gotta look at history. This is Eunice Rivers 2.0 in the face of Kismeezy Corvette. When that little leprechaun Fauci told you that, oh, your vaccine you be taking developed by an African American woman. Has anybody seen Kismeezy Corvette's tweets? Okay, so this is nothing. She's I'm gonna just call her a nigger or bed wench. That's all she is. He's a bed wench. She obviously likes white men, so I mean, she's working on behalf of them. She's trying to convince you to take a vaccine. I already saw her on CNN, so when I saw her on CNN, I said I already know what she is. As a matter of fact, any black person with self-respect should not go on CNN for anything. I mean, why you gonna go on? Some people call it conspiracy news network. I call it gay news network. So I mean, it seems like everybody on there like that. But for the most part, I realized that.
What if she would have been?
River. Huh?
What if Kizzy? I'm just gonna say Kizzy, Dr. Kizzy. What if she? This is the thing when we talk about Black people in certain position being compromised, because she could have. I remember when Donald Trump, he the one, I think he was at that lab and taking pictures with her and stuff like that. But what if she would have said, I don't want to be in the limelight. I don't want to be the face of the scientists helping to come up with the COVID-19 vaccination. I don't want to be that face because, I am a Black woman, and a lot of Black people, some Black people don't trust the government or whatever. What if she just said, I don't want to be the face of it? That would have been, I think that would have been good for her to say that. But a lot of times people in that position, if she were to have take that stand, she probably would have been blackballed. She probably would have been transferred. So, and my point is, people in certain positions, they're not willing to sacrifice their life or their livelihood, because it's like, okay, one reason you have a family to feed or whatever. The second reason is, are Black people going to be there to catch her and support her? Do she have a Black coalition to come to that's going to protect her? If she said, don't make me the face of this, because she should know she's being used to ease Black people's fears of this vaccination. So if she would have took a stand behind closed doors and said, I don't want to be the face of it, most likely she would have been blackballed in her profession. But does she have a community of Black people to protect her, to fall back on? And I'm going to say no, and that is a problem. Like, we need to start protecting each other to where when we are being used and we say, no, I don't want to be the face of this, that, okay, it's okay for me to sacrifice this because I know my people have my back.
Well, the thing about the Kizzy thing, she's appropriately named Kizzy because there's a character from Roots named Kizzy, and Roots was a story by Alex Haley that he stole from a white man, Dr. Harold Corlin, who wrote The African. He actually sued Alex Haley and his publisher for a large sum of money back in the day, and it's been proven that Alex Haley was a plagiarist. He didn't even write the autobiography of Malcolm X. It's written by his editor at Playboy, Murray Fisher. So Alex Haley was a con artist in his naval intelligence. But with Kizzy, if you look at the story of Roots, Kizzy was the one who knew how to read and write. She wrote that fake pass for her first love, Noah, to escape from slavery. And she was punished because she thought Miss Ann, the white lady, would protect her. She thought Miss Ann was her friend. So Miss Ann ended up betraying that trust, and she got sold down the river to another plantation. But with Kizzy, see, the talented Tiff, the talented Tiff was the head of the Black community. It got disconnected from the body a long, long time ago. So the talented, she's a part that will be known as the talented Tiff, and she's disconnected from her community that gave her support. So once they get through using her, she's no good to us anymore because she's been used. They're gonna throw her away, discard her. But in compare and contrast, Dr. Kizzy to Dr. Timothy Cunningham. Nobody ever talks about Dr. Timothy Cunningham, who was the guy who was the epidemiologist at the Centers for Disease Control down in Atlanta, who disappeared February 12th, 2018. They found him floating in the Chattahoochee River in Atlanta
18,
of
right?
April 2018. But they said allegedly he was warning about how the CDC was using vaccines and pandemics or epidemics to poison the black community. But now they really care to assassinate the brother because the brother got a big promotion on February 12th, the day of his disappearance, but he didn't get that promotion. The Atlanta police say he did not get the promotion. His family said he did not get the promotion, but the CDC said he did get the promotion. And then they did like a little dark joke, said his security clearance wasn't high enough for us to want to kill him. So they put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't talk about Dr. Timothy Cunningham. And Atlanta's nothing but a big psyops anyway. You go back to Wayne Williams and all this stuff.
Do you think that because I'm pretty sure she knows of him, and maybe she's like, well, I don't want to end up like him.
Oh, yeah, she made a choice. She chose to sell, like Eunice Rivers. I'm not gonna let Eunice Rivers off that easily. She was the face of the Tuskegee experiment from 1932 to 1972. For 40 years, the Tuskegee experiment posted had last only 6 months, but she was a full-time employee for 40 years, misleading black men and their families. She even set up a burial plan for the lab rats of the Tuskegee experiment. She didn't think enough of them to stop them from destroying their health while they was alive, but she made sure that she paid for their burials. And the sad thing about Eunice Rivers, she had a strong black father that worked himself to the bone at the sawmill to make sure that she had a college education. She graduated from Tuskegee in the early 1920s. But if you look at a picture of her, she's like an innocent old woman, but even photos of her in the community, she was put in the community to build a certain trust with the black farmers of that community. So they will always use one of our own to betray us, because it's not betrayal unless they use one of us to betray us.
Do you think W.B. Du Bois, he was a traitor too, because he tried to justify the whole movement of eugenics?
But a lot of black leadership was like that. They had the Negro Project here, Mary McLeod Bethune. It's complex. Dr. King got an award. He got a Margaret Sanger Award in the 1960s.
She asked him for money. I don't know if he gave it to her, but I'm pretty sure he did. But he championed some eugenic practices. And that was in the Collinson letter, saying, that there are certain certain types of black people who should not be breeding. So
you got to think about Dr. Du Bois is the father of American sociology. He wrote the book The Philadelphia Negro that came out, I believe, in 1899. He's the father of American sociology. So he talking about bloodline. So it's a soft form of eugenics where I want smart people to breed with other smart people. So it's like horse breeding. Like we was bred like that. You had the sex farms in Maryland and Virginia. It's a movie called Farewell Uncle Tom that talks about the sex farms where you had the incest going on, where you had the term motherfucker. You fucking your mom, your sister, your aunt to produce a certain type of baby.
Yeah.
That's why we excel at athletics and stuff. We like horses.
And when we talk about butt breaking, that was going on a lot during slavery, which carry over to it looks different. You go by doing it different, but that's going on today, a lot of butt breaking. So a lot of eugenics, it didn't just die out. That is still alive and well today. It just has a different look, a different name to it, different faces attached to it. But so what?
I'm sorry, let me say something.
Lose World War II. The Nazis came over here. They didn't lose World War II. Germany lost World War II. The Nazis won.
But look, I gotta say something here about that, because abortion is eugenics, homosexuality is eugenics, birth control actually is eugenics.
Yeah.
Really, to be honest, I want to use another thing. Now, a lot of people don't know this. Even condoms actually is a form of eugenics in a way. Mm-hmm. They say, but some of these condoms, I think a lot of them actually have spermicide in it to reduce your sperm count.
There you go.
That's a fact. You can actually Google it up. So actually, to tell you the truth, like they always talk about these diseases and all that. I understand, but guess what? Who is making the diseases. In 1969, the Senate had a bill where they would actually let them use biological warfare. Who did Donald Trump just kick out of the damn Pentagon? He kicked out Henry Kissinger, who's been there since the night since under Nixon.
Lord have mercy.
National
Yeah,
Memorandum 200 in what's his name? Jimmy Carter was part of the Trilateral Commission. They've been actually working on this stuff for a long time. Henry Kissinger said homosexuality be good for Africa. We have to break everything down. But they actually didn't just use it in other countries. They used it here. They used it all over the world. Now they came full circle with that. What was a guy named not Fauci? It's another guy. Whatever. Oh, George Bush. Let's say George Bush. When 2000 hit and they passed that faith-based initiative, your church went in the ground because you had preachers start taking government grant money. They don't stand up for anything. They are nothing but a bunch of sorry. Your preacher is, I mean, he worse than on the corner. Actually, to tell you the truth, your preacher and Black Lives Matter need to be in the same sentence. Black Lives Matter raised about $10.7 billion over the last 6 months. Your pastor get that in a year plus more. Then he gives the money to white bank, and then the white bank focus on gentrification. Down here in Virginia, we got this thing going on now. Richmond, Creighton Court. We got these projects, and they said, okay, we're gonna selectively. They had 504 units. They're down 312, and the areas are boarded up now. Some of them. So what they did, they had a Zoom meeting this week, and they had a Zoom meeting, and don't nobody know on the Zoom meeting. They was like talking about they're gonna have another meeting demolition. We had a guy named Duncan who came here from Chicago, and then on our superintendent we have Jason Camaras. Jason Camaras was part of the superintendent under Obama and Bush. They brought those people here to Richmond. Now Richmond, and I always talk about this, Richmond has, I think, 11 opportunity zones. And they tore down the trailer park and they're making all these houses. And they keep on saying, oh, we're going to have affordable housing. You look at the houses and they're going to say, oh, we're starting off affordable housing $300,000. You can't afford that. You just got moved out. So, but they have 504 units, but they're going to make it. So they're about to gentrify this area and they're going to move people out to the suburbs. Now, here's the problem with that thing. If you go to Cook County in Chicago, which I went there earlier this year, you have boarded up housing in the suburbs. So all they're doing is just doing a reverse gentrification move, moving from the city and move you to the county. I mean, we got lanes here where it used to be 2-lane roads. Now they got a bike trail on that, and they got parking lines on the street and 1-lane road going up Brook Road in Richmond. So you got to understand, when these people start coming in with these bike lanes and all that, you got to know they got a bike lane in the projects now, Mosley Court in Richmond. I mean, they got a bike lane over there. So I'm like, but the people do not come to the meeting, and now they're going to have it on Zoom meeting. Actually, this COVID thing actually is the best thing because they know a lot of people in the project do not have internet. They don't even probably know a Zoom meeting was on. But they're going to have another meeting, I think, in the next couple of days. If they didn't already have it. Some people don't. But they didn't watch the right thing, but it's okay. But what I'm saying is they have all these meetings, and they know how to do it, but now they're using it to do that, and now they're saying like over 7 million people may be out in the street or evicted by the end of the year. Now, Congress did pass a $900 billion stimulus package tonight, but the worst part about that, they're saying only 600 can go to the people. Now, I know Donald Trump and Rand Paul said they were 2,000. I don't understand this thing with this deep state stuff. I'm not going to get into all this right now, but I'm just saying, a lot of people know Donald Trump, when he tried to get that money, they didn't want that money to even go to the people. They wanted that money to go strictly to corporation. This was corporate welfare, man. This is what these corporations want. Now, I mean, $600, you ain't had a stimulus in 2000. You had a $1,200, so you got $1,800 for what? $1,800 might not pay your rent in California. But what they want. But they want you to come, because I actually tell you go in the bread lines, you'll be hungry. You wait on Nancy Pelosi said it herself. We feed them. That's what she said in her own mouth. She said it right in the press conference. I'm like, did anybody hear that comment? So they're actually letting you know that we are the best way to beat anybody to the ground is through starvation. Look at the starvation in Yemen. People been starving for years. I mean, me and Ron talked about this one day. Ethiopia's at war right now. But the way you beat people is starve people out. You starve people out. More people will die of starvation than the war.
Mm.
So that's always
Right.
the thing that we have to be aware of.
Because
Yeah,
you're killing them off without having to bring in troops. It's other ways to kill off people, without going to war.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, this is true, and also we are in Hunger Games era. This is all the Hunger Games, like people should read Adam Smith, The Wealth of Nations. That was written centuries ago, where he talking about how government should not support corporations, that corporations should be limited projects. Like you think about how they're trying to destroy the small business class right now, but yet they're propping up these big corporations too big to fail, like Amazon or Walmart or something like that, or even some of these banks. And the people don't know what to do because they don't understand any type of history. This is not like the 60s. It's like the 1930s. We had all the different labor unions, the people out in the streets and stuff. And they'll try to overthrow the government. Like they'll try to overthrow Roosevelt from office. You had the Wall Street plot or the business plot. Well, the Wall Street banksters try to get rid of Roosevelt and replace him with a military guy named General Smedley Butler. Or you had Huey Long, the senator from Louisiana, with the Share the Wealth program. He wanted to redistribute the wealth, and they got rid of him. They assassinated him down in Louisiana, where he was from, on the operating table back in 1935. So you got all this stuff going on where I will always tell people that history is a weapon. Y'all need to listen to Malcolm X's Prospects for Freedom. One of his last speeches he did back in 1965 is like he's talking about what's happening right now. And I just want people, as Black people, it's time for us to not only reset but upgrade our reality. This is the time to get ready. People talking about what's going to happen on January 6th. It doesn't make a difference who's president if you're not putting yourself in the position to win.
Yeah.
And we got to learn. People always say, well, Brother Ron, you're not like Dick Gregory. I said, they lost. Baba Dick and them lost, man. That's why we still fighting the same crap. With all due respect, I love the elder, the ancestor, but he'll tell you himself, that's why he was frustrated. All them ass whoopings and going to jail and starving himself, and we still ain't where we supposed to be at. We still ain't what we supposed to be as a people.
But then Martin King say he sent his people to a burning building.
Yeah, we still in the building though. That's the problem. Yeah. We were closer then to where we need to be than we are now. 52 years ago, the economy was booming. I mean, as a Black man, I could drop out of high school and find a job at the auto plant or some factory, support a family of 4, work that job for 30 years, retire with a good pension, send my 2 kids out to college. My wife could stay at home, be a homemaker. You can't do that no more. So 52 years ago, when they'll walk around with I am a man in Memphis, you still could go to Firestone and work as a high school dropout and support a family. You can't do that no more. Right. Those days are not coming back.
But that started dwindling off in the late 50s, early 60s, like the Detroit
Now, it's still going strong in the 70s, though. It's like
it was. I mean, it didn't happen overnight, but it started because you have Detroit. That was the automobile industry capital there. But a lot of companies started slowly leaving in the late 50s, but really started leaving in the 60s, to where you started seeing a lot of Black people being laid off. And this is way before the Detroit riots. And that's because these companies, these corporations, auto corporations started going to automation, and a lot of things are done intentionally. It's not by coincidence. And it's public policy that's been detrimental to Black people. It's like, I'm a massage therapist. I help and massage and touch all bodies of all walks of life, right? And I love doing what I do. I don't have a problem with a white person, Indian person, nothing like that. When I talk about Black people and the things that we need to do, if I'm criticizing Black people, because you can't blame the white man no more. That you have to stop blaming them. In the 60s, it's us. We are the problem. We haven't progressed. We're not doing what we need to do. And I that's why I don't like it. You have like a Candace Owens, she said on her show when she did that interview with forgot that guy's name. He's actually a professor. He owns a bookstore, but a professor from Temple, whatever.
Oh, Dr. Mark Malone. What's his
Yeah,
name?
Mark
Lamont Hill. Yeah, Mark
Oh,
Lamont Hill.
Lord. Well,
right. So he was on her show.
Ah.
And my thing is, this is why it's not about how many degrees you have, because, you know, it's a lot of things he didn't know that he could have came back and just cut her with, because she had to say, well, the automobile companies left Detroit because the black people rioted and burnt everything down. And it's like, no, you fucking idiot. That's not why black people, the automobile company left before that. They were all working. They left, and you have black men unemployed, and they was getting their ass kicked by the police. Martin Luther King died, Malcolm X died, and then you have a riot. Riots with black people are a result of you trying to starve us. So we are not educated on history. Ron, you know more about history than I do. That's why when you're talking about stuff, I do listen. You know what I'm saying? We all could contribute in some factor. It's just the fact that, do you want to contribute to bettering our race, our cause, our group of people? But a lot of people just want to sit and complain.
But anybody else want to say anything before we close it out?
Yeah, I got something to say about that. Mark Lamont Hill, and this is a problem I got with him. You see, you got these idiots like Mark Lamont Hill and Jamel Hill. Yeah,
They might be related. You think they related by any chance? From the same plantation? Or tribe? I don't know.
They think they're on a plantation because Jamel Hill and Carrie talking about she like white men now, so I'm like, okay. But you know something about Jamel Hill? Jamel Hill got to deal with Disney, and so does Kaepernick. And when I was I did some studies on Kaepernick, and me and Coolicc talked about this the other day. See, a lot of people, like I said, the cause was good. I mean, you know, just to bring awareness, but actually the cause was real similar to spark up support for Black Lives Matter. Now you got the LeBron or Lee Puppet James, and you got these other guys doing all this nonsense, right? And you look at what they're doing, and I'm sitting thinking to myself, why is every one of these people that's actually saying this actually saying that they are respecting trans and gays? I said, oh, I get it. They're not trying to bring racial justice for nobody. They're trying to bring transgender and queer awareness. Oh, I see what they're doing, and they're all correlated. Look, like I said, look at what LeBron James and Cam Newton and James Harden, these guys are wearing. You can't tell me that something ain't wrong with these guys. I mean, even Lil Wayne just think, why is a man wearing skinny jeans? Give me a damn break. I mean, I'm just saying. So I'm saying, when we look at the correlation between Black Lives Matter, now the NBA has, you know what, they said they're gonna stop doing it because they realize losing business. And Coolicc, me and you talking about this. Ain't that bad that NBA losing 70% of their business, is it? It ain't that bad, is it? It's a good thing, isn't it?
I think it's a bad thing now, personally.
Why?
I don't care what black folks do no more. Y'all. I mean, I don't. I mean, I'm gonna say this like this. We can have all the information in the world, but there's got to be the right person to deliver the message. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, niggas want to play football and basketball, kid them stuff up. I don't care. I'm turning white. That's what I'm doing.
Well, don't do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it. When I get a chance, I'm doing it. I'm gone. Y'all, this is lost cause right here. And I ain't talking about you, BJ. I ain't talking about you. But I look, man, this shit's crazy.
I mean, yeah, like, you know, remember when you said,
like, I will not be turning nothing. I will be staying black to the day I die. But if people want to go, bye. I always tell people.
Well, it's a novelist. George Schuyler was a famous black newspaper journalist and also a prolific author. He was good friends with H.L. Mencken from Baltimore. They called him the Black H.L. Mencken. He was known for traveling across the country just to have a good conversation, stuff I used to do back in the day. But he had a novel called Black No More, where black folks was able to turn themselves white. He was a Harlem Renaissance guy. He lived a long time. He lived long enough to criticize King and all that in his newspaper articles. But it was interesting because the white folks couldn't tell who was original white people And the way they told who was original white folks versus the black folks who turned white was who acted white the most. The black folks acted white more than the white people did. So it's called
they
black
thought
no
that was
more.
the level of being accepted.
Yeah.
That's why you have these sororities and fraternities. That it was developed because they wanted to emulate what white people do, but make it black. Do it, do for themselves, create their own organizations, but you are replicating Greek culture, not African,
And Greeks were copying Africans, right?
Exactly.
Everybody copying black
got their
people.
civilization from Africa.
So, but black people don't know who we are. Even if, like, think about white people. Even if it's a lie, they'll make the lie a reality. I remember when Braveheart came out. All these white folks related to Braveheart. They know there was a damn lie they was related to Braveheart, but they made it work. And I think I want to encourage black folks to really go into your family trees, figure out some things, reclaim that narrative, and own it. Because white folks own lies. They fight wars on lies, and then it destroys lives. So own it and reclaim your narrative. If you want to be
because they claim ours,
claim that, claim your tribe, claim your story. If you want to be from Africa, claim it, make it work. Be like Steven Spielberg with the shit. Create this movie, because we all just live in our own individual movies. I'm a conspiracy realist because everything's a damn conspiracy. Everything's being conspired to act on certain things for certain results. So with that said, I want to encourage, and also people take care of your health because they don't give a damn about you.
Let me ask you this, Ron. Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
Where was he from? And
from Africa.
He a black man?
He was from Africa.
Was he a black man?
Yes, he's supposed to have been a black man, but they make him white.
Sometimes I go on white platforms, right? Actually, it was the Smithsonian on YouTube, and they have their like premiere little documentaries, and they did it on Hannibal, like a replay of Hannibal. And they had like, maybe it was 15-minute video of Hannibal and what he conquered, yada yada yada, his army. But the man playing him was a white man.
Of course he was.
And he was like the Albanian color, tannish white, whatever, what you would call what they call now the low grade Europeans. Like they made him look like that. So I put in the comment section, the Smithsonian, you need to do your research. Hannibal was a black man, and baby, those white people was like, no, he was not. He was Carter something. Carthaginian.
Yeah, but that's Africa. Look, the Middle East is Africa.
It was like he was not a black man. That was his true color. Like we were going back and forth. Love it. Even on Twitter, like you want to see people's true colors, white people, whatever. Yeah, talk about history, right? What they learned, what they teach us, and what black people believe that is true, right? Or talk, or have a black person who know history, black history, American history, world history, and have a discussion with a white person. Like it's fascinating. Like, okay, the truth always comes out. But yeah, I had a long back and forth that extended for over a week. People are still commenting under what I commented, saying he was not an African.
No, he was African, but the thing about it is they got likeness of him on coins that show that he had, African or black, or so-called black features, African features. But if you look at Russia, people can't believe they got a drink called the Black Russian or whatever. But the father of Russian literature is a black man named Alexander Pushkin. At least he's half black. His grandfather or great grandfather was a gift to Peter the Great. He was from Africa. He organized the Russian Imperial Army. But Alexander Pushkin wrote about his African heritage. He was proud to be of African heritage, and he died in a gun duel fighting for the honor of his wife who was messing around on him. He was about like 37 or 36 years old. So that's the father of the Russian tongue. All these great Russian novelists and literary people, they come from him.
Would you agree that black people, some black people in general, are afraid to be black in white spaces?
That's a good question. It's quite possible. I mean, we kind of like, what the boys talk about, the double consciousness of black folks and the souls of black folks. We wear masks, or like Paul Lawrence Dunbar said, we wear the mask we're not, look, black folks, a lot of things that people say about our health, like high blood pressure and diabetes, all this stuff is hereditary. If you are in a constant fight or flight mode and never at rest, it destroys your health over time. Because fight or flight supposed to be something that's temporary. Like you in a dangerous situation, like you encounter a lion or bear, it's fight or flight. But if you always living like that 24/7, worry about when the police come behind you, are they gonna pull you over? Even though your tags are up to date, you don't got no outstanding tickets or warrants, but you still afraid when the police come behind you. You can have as many PhDs, as many millions in the bank, you still are afraid. If you are in that type of space every day for 24/7, you can't help but have bad health as a black person, so-called black person. So you always in fear. We got that trauma. We got ancestral memory to deal with. You got your personal trauma. Then there's ancestral trauma and memory. And like I said, people should check out that Mom Rainey's Black Bottom. It's a very powerful movie, on so many levels to deal with our situation, how we sick as a people. But I ain't gonna hold y'all up. I got another show to do.
You doing another one?
Yeah, I gotta do one because I'm doing this thing about Jimmy Lunsford. This was a black man who was a phenomenal black man. And he died under questionable circumstances back in July 12th.
I thought Dr. Ron was coming on tonight.
Huh?
I thought Dr. Randy Short.
No, I couldn't have him on. We'll be on 5 hours, Dr. Short, on this show.
Oh, so you told him? You told him no?
No, I didn't tell him no. I can't. Like, you want him on the show? Cause I know you was.
I
like Aaron Hall. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Yeah,
you was afraid of Dr. Short. I said, Dr. Short ain't gonna bite you. He's a
big
old pussy cat.
When we exchange numbers, I'm actually gonna call him tonight.
Yeah, I put him on Dr. Short on the show earlier today. I already know. Look, I don't know. I could sit through a show with Dr. Short and Judge Joe Brown. I don't know if I can do that.
Really.
I mean, I paid my dues.
Y'all.
I paid y'all hours. I did that. Hours and hours. I can't. It's like I'm gonna get Mo Bay. Hell, oh Lord, please stop it. But I love y'all. I'm glad y'all taking the baton. I can't look. I did it with Dick Gregory, who cursed me out and crap. That that's shock therapy. He was like a damn drill sergeant. But that's why I'm so tough now. I thank God for Dick Gregory crazy ass, because it made me the man I am today. I could take this bullshit, especially from the bastards in the chat. God bless you, bastards in the chat. My biggest fans, some of the trolls. But y'all great. But what I'm saying is we gotta develop a thick skin. Dick Gregory used to tell me, "Ron, we soldiers. If you ain't made for this war, get the fuck out the army."
Exactly.
If you can't take this little bit, all this shit, well, what they saying about being a chat? I've been talked about all my life. I've been bullied all my goddamn life. So who gives a fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really care. People know who I am. I don't know who they are. People been following me for years. You know what I'm saying? Listen to me. They can recognize my voice and face and stuff like that. I don't know nothing about these people. But yet, why should I feel afraid of putting myself out there if I'm doing it for a good cause? Our people are sick. And we need help.
Right.
And whatever I can do on my platform or out there in the real world, I'm gonna do it to the best of my abilities. And I reserve the right to be fucked up and be a disappointment because I do so much for people. Even I want to. So I want to thank y'all for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, Dana. I just want it was an honor coming back on. We was hoping to get other friend on here, but she might be asleep or something.
Now she has some issues. She has some Lauren, but she has some issues with her technology. It happens from time to time. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. But like my thing is, you should be able to hold your own. If you are a professional, if you're good at what you do, even if stuff don't work out, you should be able to hold your own water, man. Like I can carry a show. But I'm glad to have people on here with like minds and stuff and talents and gifts to share it with the world. So I mean, ain't no big deal, man. Cause it's stuff I still can share. Like with Jimmy Lunsford, I can talk about Jimmy Lunsford for hours and talk about other stuff and so like that. That's why people need to do it. And that's nothing. Black folks, please do your research. Don't look at us as a supreme oracle. We just people. We flaw. We could misspeak, get things wrong and stuff like that. The narrative could change when new information becomes available.
Perspective. It's okay.
Yeah, do your own research, man. I'm just tired of people. I don't got no kids. I don't got no kids that I know of. I'm not responsible for raising your kids. You raise your damn kids. I don't got no kids that I know of. Because women, y'all do that. Y'all move to another country and somebody come back 18 years later looking like me a little bit. and my mannerism. I ain't know nothing about it. That's what women can do. Y'all like that. You know, it's just, I know a woman, her grandma moved from Chicago to Oakland without telling her baby daddy. She just moved from Chicago to Oakland without even leaving some type of new address or anything for him. He had to find him. It took him years to find this woman. And he loved his daughter. But that's old school. She's from Mississippi, whatever. But yeah, I want to thank y'all. Y'all got anything else to add or say before we close out? Share your contact information. Cash App, whatever, websites.
I'm
Bernard Johnson.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Bernard Johnson, Facebook. Bernard 1121 Instagram. Cash App $1919 BJ. And that's about it. Y'all just be careful. I just tell people they come in with it, they might be coming with this Operation Dark Winter. You know, last Monday, me and Ron was texting, and you know, I said, Ron, is the grid out? Is daggone couldn't get on YouTube or nothing on that? They really that cyber hack when they hacked Solar Winds, Ron, and we were talking about what the hell going on. You couldn't get on YouTube, Google, or nothing on
it was a Monday. It was like Toro College vote. That's a dry run what they was doing. Yeah. So they're gonna cut this out eventually. They're gonna cut us off eventually. They're working on it.
Censorship. Hey man, ready for right, man. We're not watch out. Go ahead, Coolicc or Dana.
Well, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Real Dane on YouTube. Me and the judge will be having our show this Thursday. #ManUp. It's going to be a good one. And you can check out the rebroadcast, Cash App, $ Dana with the data. Actually, I always love to acknowledge when people send in donations. And Ron, when people send you donations, you should also read the super chats. Thank you to the Coffee Reality Group who sent me a lovely Cash App earlier. Appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. So my email address, danawiththedata@gmail.com. But, you know, I will be doing research and coming back with facts and stats and data about the slave trade and indigenous people. That conversation will be put on hold. I don't care who's on the panel. That conversation will be had, whether it's here or somewhere else. But yes, but I think that
y'all have a show on that.
Yeah, I think that people are so used to turning on our phones and our technology and just being entertained or just sitting and listening, and that's fine. But we do have to get back to the basic fundamentals of actually reading, of actually doing research. Yes, it's okay that you don't agree with somebody. You could disagree. That doesn't make them stupid or less intelligent or you know more than them. You just disagree with them. Or you have your research here, I have mine here, or whatever. So, you know, you do have to have thick skin in certain areas in life. And outside of YouTube, you know, you definitely need Black people need to have a strong confidence, especially when they are in non-Black spaces and even when they're in Black spaces. But I just think as a whole, we need to just stop tearing each other down because you don't like what somebody said or you don't like their opinion. You need to stop telling people what you think there are. You know what I'm saying? Just stop doing that, men and women. Now, you either going to have the discussion and come up with solutions. If you're not about solutions, if you're not about action, then you basically need to just shut the fuck up. Your opinion really don't matter if at the end of the day, if you're not about action, if you're not about being a doer. Because you could talk all the shit you want, but if you're not doing anything, it doesn't matter what you say and how you feel. That's it for now. Until next time.
Okay. Brother Coolicc.
Y'all can follow me at PiNeal Coolicc, YouTube. Make sure y'all unfollow. Everybody unfollow so I can have 0 followers on there. Y'all get me off this fucking internet. If y'all want to do a Cash App, make sure y'all send $0, whatever it may be. but make sure black men with sense that had a mom and dad in their house. Do not deal with a ignorant, ghetto, non-confident black woman that's causing all this hate and pain in this community. Run. Whether you got to get to a South American black woman, whatever it may be. But if they are the problem of today, run. Because do not let them stress you out with high blood pressure, diabetes, heart attack. This is why we're dying. We care too much, but if we got to separate, I'm talking about black men and black women, do it. But we are the indigenous Indians of the Americas. We got to know that this is our lineage, our land. We got full support of that. Anybody else confining and supporting that are part of the white Nazi Zionists. And a lot of black women have sold us out. And that's why we're in this condition today. And a lot of black men are beat to death. They don't got no more energy. Me, I'm going to do what I got to do. At the same time, I'm not going to deal with no mess from no female, white, black, or whatever. So black men, make sure you keep yourself safe, stay confident, love yourself. But if your counterpart can't get on the road, where you got money or no money, love yourself. Know that you had women back in the day that laid the foundation down for women to run their mouth and disrespect them. Because all these women run their fucking mouth talking about nothing and all that fucking nonsense. Know that the Ida B. Wells, Coretta Scott Kings, they were strong, they were loyal, they loved themselves. These fucking hoes nowadays that's disrespecting themselves, talking about this feminism and these fake synthetic feminists that really are feminists, know that they are like bubblegum. You chew them, you spit them the fuck out. But black men that got some sense, that ain't killing each other, that ain't raping, that ain't gay, I want y'all to love yourself, build your own companies. Do not invite no type of black woman in there until they get their shit together, because they got some bullshit in their brain, and we don't need to deal with this mess no more. Thank you very much, y'all.
Okay, thank y'all for sharing your thoughts and sharing this platform with us. These narratives need to be told, as well as stuff need to be countered. So I want to thank you all for that. You know, I want to read some of these things. Shout out to, like, you know, Dana said about the super chats, bald-head Jamaican, Calvin the Great, Snuggles 668, Mac Nation, Mad Shifter. I'm gonna say Shifter. I think it's some other word he said. Kissed by the Sun. So many people. Brooklyn. Thank you. Brooklyn in the house. Brooklyn in the house. Dr. Carmen Johnson. She's in always consistent, good woman. She
yeah, she's a treasure.
Honey, when people send donations, everything stops in the show, honey, so I can read it. Because money come first.
Oh, well, I can't do that because sometimes people say I can't understand what the hell they be saying. It's not no subject verb agreement. And also, I mean, I appreciate the donations, but you know, it don't stop for me like that because I'm giving you my best. You know, I'm giving you the information, the time I took to research my experiences. I'm sharing my heart, mind, and soul with the people. So, but I want to read what she said. Interesting show. I wish we could get along as men and women of color. And that's, you know, when we have solidarity as a people, ain't nobody can stop us on the planet but us. When the black man, woman, and child on the same page, we are unstoppable. We are the real holy trinity. But when we not on the same page, nothing get done in our interest because they always using black power to support and maintain white power. Because black power is unity and solidarity. White power is divide and conquer. And we got to learn that. We got to be each other's best friends, confidants, supporters, day ones, and all that stuff. Because we're not going to get anything without each other on the same page. You know, and we got to work with the folks we can work with. But thank everybody for listening. Till next time, in the words of Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, too.